Hello, everybody. Welcome to the TriStar Gym channel. Today's episode, we are going to be talking about Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. I'm so excited about this fight. I wasn't going to do a breakdown about this fight because I thought, you know what? We're all going to pick Topuria. Everybody's going to pick Topuria by KO. It's the easy answer. I'm not going to do something so, one-sided. Usually I love to do the tough to pick fights. But I'm so excited about this fight. I was like, I can't talk about anything else. The fight is days away. I'm super excited about this fight. So I'm going to break my rule. From now on, I'm going to do also fights that I'm super pumped to watch. I'm super ultra excited to check out Topuria versus Oliveira. And I'm going to make a case for fun. I'm going to make a case for Oliveira. I don't think he's dead in the water. That's not true. The man he was world champion in the past. He's put up great fights against everybody, world-class opponents. Time and time again, he showed he can hurt anybody. He could hurt any man on the face of the earth. He's a threat to any man. However, I have a feeling we're all going to unanimously 80-20 pick Topuria. Now, I'm not giving 80-20 to Topuria. I think it's more like 70-30 for Topuria. If I had to say 70-30, I think he has 70% chance to win. I'm going to make a case for why Oliveira can also win. Unlikely, though. I think highly unlikely he wins. Yet, still, I'm super excited to watch this fight. Why? Because Oliveira is going to bring hell. He's not going to make it easy for Topuria. Topuria is going to have to put him away. He's going to have to... I don't think this goes to decision. They're both such great finishers. The winner is going to win by KO or submission. Okay, and I'm picking Topuria for sure. I just want to make that clear. But we know Oliveira is going to bring war. We know there's going to be a back and forth. There's going to be pain and suffering. He's not going to get the strap for free. It's going to be hell. Guys, I want to give a shout out to my new sponsor and friends from Man-Made Underwear. Guys, I'm wearing their stuff. I love their stuff. Let me tell you something. I'm just going to keep this brief, okay, real short. They made the world's greatest pair of underwear. It doesn't shift. It doesn't bunch. It doesn't wrinkle. It breathes super well. It's made. I'm wearing the shirt. The shirt's made by this new material. I don't know. Nobody else makes it with this material. It's called Modal. It's breathable. The first time I put them on, I'm like, what's the big deal? Why is this company is so popular, so famous? It's crazy. The Canadian company. First day I put them on. I went to a wedding. And one of my students was getting married. And after being in them for a few hours, I was like, oh my God, I'll never wear anything else ever again. I understand the hype. I believe the hype, guys. I haven't even inked my deal with them, but I believe in the product so much. I'm wearing it every single day. They gave me a bunch of stuff to try out. They're like, if you like it, we're going to make a deal with you. I'm like, guys, I absolutely love it. I don't even need the deal to be signed yet. I'm going to tell the world about this product. It's incredible. Guys, check the link in the description. I posted a link. It is the hype is real, guys. You've heard about Man-Made. You've seen them. You've heard about them. The hype is real. These guys redid it. Anyways, with that said, guys, use summer 50 off promo code. I just released guard retention. Powerful guard retention. Effortless guard retention. Check it out, guys. If you want to retain guard is one of the most important elements of ground fighting. Make sure you don't get your guard passed. Check out volume 1. It's a series I'm going to do. It's at least a minimum 2-part series. This one is on loose passing. The next one's going to be on tight passing. Check it out. I just released it. Use the promo code. Punch it in. If you don't punch it in, there's nothing I can do for you. Guys, with that said, Oliveira is going to make it hell. The only way I could see Oliveira winning, and guys, please, I'm not hating on Oliveira. I'm a big fan of Charles Oliveira. I just think he's outgunned. I think on the ground, Topuria is going to have the edge. I know a lot of you are going to jump on me for this. I understand Oliveira is very good on the ground. I get it. He's very dangerous. He has a crazy good guillotine. He's great at the triangles. He has leg locks. He has it all. I just think Topuria is as good and stronger, physically stronger. I think he's going to be the better athlete of the two. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible Oliveira subs him, but highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. I think if they go to the ground, it's going to be Topuria on top, and he's going to be a menace on the ground. Because when you have strikes and your jiu-jitsu is at least as good as the guy you're hitting, it's a different world. It doesn't play out like on the mats, okay? Now, we've seen Oliveira. He does such great things in jiu-jitsu. Yes, but Topuria's jiu-jitsu is A++. Okay, it's really good. So I don't think he can even get an advantage there. Where can Oliveira do damage? Here's where I see the damage. Topuria does a lot of faking forward, and he lowers his level. Oliveira fights really, really tall. Topuria fights really, really short. When you have two guys fighting, one of them fights very tall, one of them fights very short, the taller fighter has a very good option to knee. Head kicks and knees are going to be the problems. Now, we all saw Jay Herbert. He kicked Topuria to the neck. You saw a tall guy who fights kind of tall, fighting a short guy who fights short, kicks Topuria to the neck. Topuria was in loads of trouble. It could have went the other way. Believe me, Topuria could have had his lights put out that day. We all saw the comeback. He came back, knocked out Jay Herbert. But we saw a major chink in the armor. Oliveira is going to try to exploit that. Oliveira, round one starts. I'm telling you already what Oliveira is going to do. Oliveira is going to run across the octagon. He's going to jump and he's going to do a scissor teep kick to the face, or he's going to do a scissor knee to the face. He's going to try to tack linear, run up at Topuria and jump scissor knee, jump scissor kick. He's going to try to catch him cold. Topuria is too smart. Topuria is going to circle, and then Oliveira is going to do like his high stepping, knee striking, kicking kind of Muay Thai style. He's going to be upright. He's going to be too upright. And that's the danger. You know, this kind of reminds me a lot of Eddie Alvarez when he fought Cowboy Cerrone. Cowboy Cerrone, very tall, upright Muay Thai style fighter, against Eddie Alvarez, a shorter and lower base fighter. He fights more crouched. And you saw round one, it was Cowboy's knees and kicks versus Eddie Alvarez's resilience and boxing. He was lighting up Cowboy with the boxing, and then Cowboy was lighting him up with the knees, and it was just seesaw battle back and forth. If I remember correctly, Oliveira won that fight. But he did take some serious damage. Guys, I will tell you, Topuria is eventually going to connect and put the lights out on Oliveira, or at least drop him so much on the ground that he could follow up with strikes and sub him. This is going to end in a finish. I think Topuria wins. I want to read your comments and questions. Does Oliveira have a chance of landing a flying knee, a scissor knee, or a flying push kick to the face? Yes. Does he outbox Topuria? Unlikely. Incredibly unlikely. I think he's going to kick Topuria, and Topuria is going to catch his kick and drop him. It's going to hurt him. All right, guys, I'm going to answer comments and questions only on this fight. Only this fight. Let's not talk about anything else for a little bit, and then we'll open it up to anything. Topuria submits Charles to make a statement. Yes, very likely. He's going to hurt him first, standing up. He's going to crush him with something really big. Body shots. I see body shots. I see overhand rights. I see punishing uppercuts. And then, yes, on the floor, put on the finishing touches, maybe with a submission. We saw Oliveira get dropped a lot in previous fights. Can he take a punch from Topuria? Amir, I think we could safely say he's been hurt in every single fight. He's been dropped in every single fight. Every single fight. I can't even think of one fight where he didn't get at least wobbled or stunned. Maybe with Armin. I don't think he got stunned with Armin. But I mean, he gets stunned a lot is what I'm trying to say. X7. You got a lot of big shoes to fill. Big shoes to fill, my friend. Topuria's strike count was pretty neck and neck versus Volk and Holloway, two of the best volume strikers. That's from Nust. I'm gonna call you Nust. Yes, Topuria's busy and he hits hard. He's busy and he hits hard. He puts pressure. He's a great counter puncher and he's a phenomenal wrestler. He's coming up a weight, but I don't think he's giving up much in size. I think he's gonna. I don't think he had too many 145 fights left in him. I don't know how many times he can make that weight. He's a very thick guy. He seems like a very thick guy. I think he's gonna do very well in lightweight. He's gonna fill out. He's gonna let his body, get to its natural size by just like eating the right amount of calories and not cutting so hard. And it's probably gonna be a more comfortable cut. But I don't know how undersized he's gonna be. But even if he's a little bit undersized, I don't think he's gonna be overpowered in any way. Not in the wrestling, not in the clinch, not in the boxing, not in the kicking, not on the ground. He's not gonna be overpowered in any way. Topuria, Armin, Merab, you think are best now? Topuria, Armin, Merab, you think are the best now? Yeah, I mean, those are good names. I don't want to get into that now. I want to talk about this fight. 90-10 for Topuria. That's from Imad. Imad, that's pretty generous. I would say, look, I think we can't disrespect the former champ. I think Oliveira still has lots of dangerous elements he brings. I mean, I don't want to make it sound so crazy that he has no chance of winning. Of course he has a chance of winning. But he'd have to hurt Topuria badly early. Topuria, round 1 or round 2. That wouldn't be a bad guess. Topuria would have the volume advantage as well as the higher chance of KO. On the ground, Oliveira would do well. Not sure Topuria could defend all subs. That's from Nust. Do you think Topuria gets guillotined? Maybe, okay? Because when you have a tall fighter and a short fighter, it's almost tempting for the shorter fighter to just shoot because the legs are there, okay? And believe me, I'm telling you, Oliveira has a good high elbow guillotine, and a high elbow guillotine could sub anybody. So that's another, look, it's another not so crazy thing to say that it could happen that Topuria gets guillotined. It could happen. I don't think so. It could happen. It could. I just wouldn't hang my hat on that, okay? I think Topuria is going to strike. He's going to get takedowns without getting guillotined, but it's very possible, especially when you have a differential, such a height differential. Oliveira can jump on that guillotine, cinch it up. You know what? If I was training Oliveira for this and I was like looking at the matchup, I'll be like, this is dangerous. If you get a chance for a guillotine, go for it. It's not a bad possibility. Statistically speaking, it's the second most used submission in the game. Oliveira has a very good guillotine. He's used it in the past. He's won with it in the past. He has a reliable finish there. I would prefer that than him going like Darce or Anaconda. I think it's going to be harder to finish Topuria with a choke, an arm choke. It's going to be harder because it's going to take more squeeze. It's going to take more energy. A high elbow guillotine, it's directly on your neck, or even turn it into a ninja choke. You know, we've seen a lot of ninja choking lately in UFC. We saw Marab finish with an inverted north-south ninja choke. So I really like directly on the neck for Oliveira this fight. Why? Because Topuria is a great athlete. He's a strong guy. He's technical and he's strong. Okay, so you got to put him away with something that's directly on the neck. Coach, I'm 24. Oh, guys, I'm only answering questions on the fight for now. Only on the fight. Topuria is a supervillain of the sport. The entire UFC community wants Charles to win. That's from Rooftop. Not too sure about that. You know, I don't know the guy personally, but I haven't heard anything too negative. Okay, but look, I don't know. I don't know how the UFC community feels too much about it. It's not something I've heard too much about. I heard a little bit about that, a little bit. Has Charles ever fought an opponent with Greco before? That's from Rose Beef. Guys, for those of you who might not know, Topuria has a Greco-Roman wrestling background. He's also a phenomenal wrestler shooting the legs. I don't know where he learned that, but he's obviously really good. He took down Max Holloway. He showed it in the past. You know, he took down Bryce Mitchell several times. The guy can shoot the legs, okay? But he's also very good upper body. Now, has Oliveira ever fought a Greco guy? Not that I can remember. No, I don't think he's ever had Greco opponent. Topuria, we did that. Maybe Oliveira could take inspiration from Makhachev and go for the Darce and ditch the guillotine. I think he'd have a much better chance getting the guillotine. Much better chance. You have to be strong to finish a Darce, guys. You have to be strong or you have to have very long arms. Now, don't get me wrong. I use the Darce. I love the Darce, but I don't think he's going to overpower Topuria. And when you finish a Darce on somebody, can you guys show me somebody who does either Anaconda or Darce at a high level on bigger, stronger guys than himself? You're never going to find that. There's only one guy who does that. That's, I would say that's, goodness, how could I forget his name? Rafa Mendes. Rafa Mendes is the only guy I've ever seen, and I've trained with him. I felt the strength of his Anaconda choke. He's a powerful guy. He's got a crazy squeeze, okay? He's put me in it. It's incredible. It's incredible. He's the only guy I've ever seen be able to sub somebody with. Guys, I'm not trying to say don't do the Anaconda choke. I love the Anaconda choke. I use it all the time. I subbed somebody yesterday with Anaconda choke. I love it. But I know that I use it on guys who are my strength level or lower, or I feel the guy's tired, and that's when I'm going to go for the Anaconda choke and put the kill on him. It works for guys with really long arms or guys who are really strong athletes. Now, the one guy I've ever seen bigger, strong wrestlers, bigger, strong, very well-trained black belts with an anaconda choke is Rafa Mendes. Can anybody out there name me another guy? I can't think of one. I'm sure there is. I'm just not thinking of it, but I can't think of one. Now, I've seen two guys of about equal level of strength choke each other with anaconda choke and Darce. Okay, guys, Darce, to me, it's anaconda choke just the other way, just the other side. Okay, it's inverted. So I'm gonna kind of say they're the same move for now. Okay, it's the same issue. It's the same issue. They're not the same move, but you have the arm between you and the guy's neck, and you got to squeeze his arm into his neck to put him out. Okay, it's kind of the same technique. Okay, it's just inverted the other way. They're very similar. Let's just call it like that. Now, I would tell you, it's a great choke, but can a little guy do it to a bigger guy? For me, that's really important because I feel that Oliveira is not the smaller guy, but he's not going to be the stronger guy. I feel like Topuria is going to be the stronger guy. All I care about is who's the stronger guy. I think Topuria can do it to him, but he can't really do it to Topuria unless Topuria is hurt. Unless Topuria is really hurt. Now, Charles does have really long arms, so it is doable. I just think that Topuria is such an athlete that even the guy with longer arms can't do it to him because he's so strong physically. He's technical and he's strong. He comes from a Greco background. He looks like a Hulk to me. You know, like you grab onto him, you're going to feel this guy's strength. Because I'll tell you something. I know many people who've trained with Volkanovski, and I've never trained with Volk, but I've heard so many people tell me that they trained with him and he was incredibly strong, incredibly physically strong. Volk trains with people I know and people tell me he's super strong. And I felt when I watched him fight, Topuria was overpowering him with the strikes, walking him down. Like he was backing off Topuria's power. Okay, so in my opinion, this is another level of strength that I have come across that I feel that Topuria has just by observing him, seeing how people react to him when they're fighting with him, when they're wrestling with him. He's going to overpower Oliveira. Guys, I'll be happy to eat my words on Monday or on Sunday when I redo the post-fight analysis. But I'll tell you, in my opinion, I think Topuria is going to have the strength advantage. What makes the Mendes choke so effective despite being a smaller guy? That's from Sam B. Guys, I've studied his anaconda choke, how he does it so many years. I've asked him. I've been in it. He has an unbelievable squeeze. Maybe it's because he's trained from such a young age and he's been squeezing that choke forever. But I'll tell you one thing. I don't think it's a technical matter. And I know I'm sure if he hears this, he's going to be like, what are you talking about? It is technical. Here's my question. If it is a technical issue, if it is just because he understands the technique better than us, how come his brother Guy doesn't do it? He has a brother who's equally skilled, equally trained, equally, intelligent, His brother Guy is incredible. I've rolled with him too. He's brilliant. He's brilliant. He's incredible technique. Master of jiu-jitsu. 4-time world champion. Incredible. He doesn't use the anaconda choke. At least when I rolled it with him and I watched him roll, I didn't see him do it once. He's great arm bars, triangle, passing, sweeping. Incredible. Everything incredible. Doesn't use the anaconda choke. Rafa, his brother, he's carbon copy, like they're identical, the same size, same. Rafa jumps on the anaconda choke. He jumps on your neck to get, like to him, if he gets to the anaconda choke, you're cooked. There's a video of him online choking Jake Shields, a very big, strong, athletic wrestler, black belt jiu-jitsu, super well versed in fighting. I mean, incredible. And you see Jake Shields tapping like feverishly, like, just get me out of this. He's not tapping like, okay, you got me. I'm on the way out. I'm just going to tap and let's. No, he's tapping like you got me, man. Stop this pressure. This pressure is going to put me, like, I need the blood back in. Like, you got to stop right now. You could tell how people tap. You can tell how tight a choke is by how people tap. Like, sometimes you're in a choke and you're like, look, I can't escape. I can't go left. I can't go right. There's no breathing room. The pressure, I feel, okay, I'm going to give a tap because, like, there's nowhere for me to go. And then you have a tap where it's like, guys, I'm going out right now. You got to let it go right now. Like, there's an urgency. And he's tapping with urgency. That's a guy with giving up like a 20-pound advantage, at least. Maybe 25 pounds. Getting you to tap, actually, I would say more. It's probably 30 pounds. That's really that's incredible. Rafa Mendes is tapping out a really well-seasoned black belt / wrestler / gritty, tough one of the best MMA fighters to ever do it. Making him tap, not only tap, feverishly tap from a squeeze choke with your arm in. You'd think, he's strong enough to kind of... I've never been tapped by an arm choke ever by a guy 30 pounds lighter than me. I've never. And I'm not trying to say that, because I'm better than Jake. No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I've never come across anybody as special as Rafa Mendes that's 20 pounds lighter than me. 30 pounds lighter than me, I should say. I've never, that would make the guy 140. I've never, most elite fighters are not 140, okay, so it's not many guys that size. But I can't imagine a guy weighing 140 tapping me out, and I'd have to tap out feverishly. I can't imagine. I imagine I would just kind of I just flex, open up my arm and neck. I just separate them by force at least, and it's going to give me some blood flow. I'm telling you, it's such a special level of ability that we have to stop here and acknowledge it. We have to acknowledge it. He's tapping out elite grapplers. 30 pounds heavier than him, at least. I would say maybe it's even more. Okay. And he's making them feverishly tap out. Nobody else can do that. Name me another guy who does that. Name me. It's just, I don't see it. Guys, I'm still on the Topuria. I'm still on Topuria versus Oliveira. Let me look at the polls. 64% say Topuria. Oliveira, 26%. I know you guys are voting with your heart here, guys. I know there's a lot of people voting with their heart. And 10% say no. They both knock each other out. 10% think we're going to see a double KO. What else we got here? Oh, I think I missed a super chat. I hate when I miss super chats. I feel bad. People wasted their money. Okay, here we go. Do you think it will be a good idea for Oliveira to wrestle with Ilia in the early rounds to tire him out? Do you think has the advantage on the ground? Who do you think has the advantage of the on the ground? That's from IK Rob. IK Rob, I will tell you something. I don't think it's a good idea, because if he shoots on Topuria, if Oliveira shoots on Topuria, I think it's going to backfire. It's going to backfire. He's going to get stuffed. He's going to get sprawled on. He's going to get thrown. He's going to get put in bad positions, and he's going to get worked. That's what I think, okay? Now, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me. I can't wait till fight night comes around, find out who's right. I think Topuria is going to work him in the wrestling. I think it would tire out Oliveira first before it tires out Topuria. Okay, so I think Oliveira's best bet is to try to wrap a head kick around Topuria's neck, throw a knee, tie clinch, elbow hard. When Topuria throws punches, elbow hard. Try to create a tie clinch. I don't think you should box with Topuria. If he boxes with Topuria, he's going to wake up asking what happened. Shooting on Topuria without first hurting Topuria, I don't see how he gets under Topuria's center of gravity. Now, I know a lot of you are going to be like, Coach, he took down Michael Chandler. 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 Oh, he took down... And Michael Chandler's a really good wrestler. I agree with you guys. But Michael Chandler's been on a slide, okay? I don't want to put down Michael Chandler. He's a brilliant fighter, but he hasn't had the momentum behind him like Topuria has. I think if you shoot in Topuria's legs, man, you better have hurt him first, because he's going to put your head down to the mat. He's going to stuff your shot. He's going to put you on your back. He's going to put the pain on you, and it's not going to be a fun place to be. Oliveira showed some really good wrestling on Chandler, but it's not going to work against Topuria. Topuria's another level. He's going to be too fast, too quick, too explosive, too technical, too smart, too ready. Chandler is not in the peak of his career like Topuria is right now. I don't think he can do what he did to Chandler on Topuria. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. The single leg, the shooting in the legs, it's not going to work. This is just my opinion. Let's wait. I can't wait to see on Fight Night. I know a lot of people are going to say, Bryce Mitchell took him down. You're right, guys. Bryce Mitchell took him down. He got him down to one hip. And yes, then they scrambled. And Topuria got the better of the scrambles. I just don't think the level change is going to be as quick as what Bryce Mitchell did. Okay, Bryce Mitchell's a little shorter, got in the legs a little quick. It gets the legs a little quicker than Oliveira. I think Topuria is going to shut down every single takedown. I will be shocked. I would be shocked if Oliveira shoots, puts Topuria down on the ground, and keeps him there. I could see maybe Topuria hitting a hip and bouncing back up, scrambling. I could see a scramble, yes. We can get anybody to scramble, yes. But holding him down, pinning him, crushing him with the weight, passing his guard, or pinning him on half guard and working him, that would blow my mind. That would shock me. It remains to be seen. It can be possible. I just don't think it is. Okay, I don't think it is. I think Topuria at most hits a hip on the ground, gets to the fence, gets back up, pushes Oliveira off, and just works him. More likely than not, Oliveira doesn't even get to the leg. It's hard to shoot on a shorter guy, especially Oliveira doesn't have the best level change and penetration shot. Bryce has a good level change, good penetration shot. I just don't see it happening. Coach, I wonder how Topuria power will affect at 155. Why is everyone counting Charles out like this? I think it's a 51/49 for Charles. We forgot what Charles did to that division. That's from Alex. Alex, I gotta disagree, man. I gotta disagree. I think you're going with your heart because we all love Charles Oliveira. Why? He's always fight of the night. He's always putting his heart on his sleeve. He's always creating chaos in the octagon. Everybody loves him for it, and he goes for the finish, and he does things sometimes that don't make sense just because he's a wildcat in there. He's a wildcat. He fights. He's a blood and guts fighter too. He's got great technique, but he also got he's got the blood and guts in him, and people love him. People love him. I love him too. He's a wild man. In the octagon, sometimes he does things that don't make sense, like strategically. But he brings the show. He brings the thunder. He brings the blood. He brings the action. And people love him. But it puts a lot of miles on your body. He has a lot of miles on him. He's been rocked many times. He lives by the gun, but he dies by the gun. He's finished people, but he's also gotten finished. Topuria is unbeaten. I'm going to say that again. Topuria is unbeaten. He's finished almost everybody. Think about that. Charles Oliveira, let me look up his topology, okay? Let me remind you guys of his history. He's an incredibly accomplished Charles Oliveira is an incredibly accomplished fighter. He's a former world champion. He's an incredible finisher. He's one of the most entertaining fighters ever. But here's the thing. Let's be analytical here, okay? Let's put our heart to the side here a second. He has 10 losses on his record. 10. He's 35-10. Okay, let's go back here. Let's go back in history. He's 23-10 in UFC, guys. Isn't that incredible? The guy has 33 fights in the UFC. That's unbelievable. But that's a lot of miles on your body. That's a lot of times you got rocked, checked, hit in the body, injured rib, injured elbow, injured neck, injured knee. It's a lot of pain to bring in. You're bringing in a lot of miles. When your fresh, powerful, in his prime opponent hits you, and you hit him back, you're like, oh, that knuckle injury I had 3 years ago is flaring up. Oh, man, that neck injury I had when I was in that squeeze 4 years back. Oh, he's got a lot of miles on him. His last win was against Chandler. He got a unanimous decision. He lost to Armin Sakarian. Okay, that was a close fight. That was a very close fight. Nothing bad there, but it was a good fight. Very difficult opponent. He beat Benil Dariush round 1. Okay, that was an incredible performance by Charles. Lost to Islam Makhachev, got subbed in the second round. We all saw that fight. It was dominant round for Islam, round 1. And then, of course, he knocks Oliveira down with a big hook and then subs him. He beat Justin Gaethje, yes, but he got rocked also by Justin Gaethje. Crazy fight, incredible fight, of course. He beat Dustin Poirier rear naked choke in round 3. He got rocked by Dustin Poirier. He beat Michael Chandler. Yes, but he got rocked again, if I remember correctly. That was another crazy, wild fight. He beat Tony Ferguson, unanimous decision. Couldn't finish Tony, but he had Tony in a lot of trouble. He beat Kevin Lee. That was a guillotine. Guys, he has a great guillotine. I was there for that fight. Believe me, he has a very good guillotine. Jared Gordon, that was a crazy, if I remember correctly, it was an overhand right uppercut, crazy finish. Nick Lentz, another finish right cross to ground and pound. Incredible win streak. He lost to Paul Felder, ground and pound. Look, he lost to Anthony Pettis. Really, he got guillotined by Anthony Pettis. I have to rewatch that fight, actually. Look, he's been subbed. He lost to Max Holloway, neck injury, shoulder/neck injury, round 1. I have to rewatch that fight. I'm not remembering it. He beat Nick Lentz twice. He also guillotined Nick Lentz. Nick Lentz also famously known for his guillotine. He guillotined a really good guillotiner. Look, the guy has some incredible wins, but he also had some big losses. My point that I'm trying to make is that defensively, he's not as sound or as well or as successful as Topuria. And that's why we love him, because he lives by the gun and he dies by the gun. To give him 51-49 odds is crazy. I haven't looked at the odds, but that's crazy. That's crazy. Do you think moving up will do bad for Ilia's cardio? Do you think if fight goes past 3 rounds, Ilia will have a hard time with his gas tank? That's from IKA. No, I don't think so, because he's going to not cut so hard. He's going to fill out naturally. He's going to have his full, like, regular size, because these guys, they have to cut. And when you cut, it zaps your power, your energy. I think we're going to see a bigger, stronger, more energetic Topuria. That's what I'm seeing, because I think it was probably really tough for him to make the weight cut because he's so thick. He's a very thick individual. He's a very muscular guy. He doesn't have an ounce of fat on him. And I don't see him being out-muscled or out-cardioed by Oliveira at all. So, again, it remains to be seen. I think he's going to do well in 155. I think he's going to be crowned champion, and then it's going to be very difficult for anybody to take him out of there. But I don't think we ever see him at 145. I think it's tough to go to 155 and then come back down. We saw Max Holloway do it. And when he went back down, I mean, it's the first time he gets stopped, gets KO'd. We saw BJ Penn do it. He had one successful fight, then, he couldn't win anymore at 55. And that's why, like, when George was thinking about going 185, I was like, look, make sure you don't want to go back to 170, because we might never, ever come back to 170. It's going to change your body. Your body's going to change. It's going to be too tempting to eat more, lift more, and just get bigger, And it's hard to come back down. It's doable. It's not impossible. It's just tough. Like we saw, Nate Diaz went up to 170, came back down, didn't have the success. It's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. Charles has that most power that Ilia ever fought? ? Vice versa. That's from Patty Cake. Who's the biggest power puncher Oliveira's ever fought? Maybe Gaethje. Gaethje's a big power puncher. Yeah, this is probably the most devastating puncher Oliveira's ever going to fight. That's a very good point. I overlooked. This is probably the biggest power puncher that he's ever fought. I think, guys, a lot of people are going to give me heat. I think Makhachev is a power puncher. He's a hard hitter. I know guys who spar with him. They tell me he hits really, really hard. But then you look at his KO ratio, and it's like, he doesn't have the biggest KOs. But when you see him hit people, you see the way they react. Watch his fight against Poirier. Poirier can take a punch. He's taking punches by McGregor. Like his last 2 fights with McGregor, he took shots from McGregor. And he didn't wince as much as when he was getting hit by Makhachev. But Makhachev also hit him with a knee, injured his nose, and started working him with the hands too. But you saw him backing off. He was backing off. And maybe it was also the wrestling. We'd have to ask him, who hits harder, Makhachev or McGregor? I wonder, because it seems like McGregor didn't have the effect at 155 that he had at 145. If you delete the Eddie Alvarez fight, that was the one fight where he seemed to carry over the power from 145 to 155. He was just touching Eddie and hurting him every time. But then when he fought at 155 after that, he didn't seem to have that one shot, one kill that he had at 145. So, I guess there's going to be some carryover, but how much? Now, I think Topuria, it's going to carry over well. Okay, I have a hunch. It's going to be the opposite of what happened to McGregor. McGregor didn't carry over because I think at 145 he was just massive. Reach-wise, he was just too far away. But Ilia, I think, is going to be fully filled out. Like he's not gonna have to diet as hard, because when you diet, guys, when you lose weight, guys, I just lost a few pounds. Okay, I could feel it in the practice room. Like my strength it's not there as usual than when I was carrying heavier weight. Like it's not there as much. Like there is a difference when I lose weight. I do feel the guys move me around. Usually they weren't able to move me out of this position. Now they move me and I got to go to the second, third option. Okay, so I do believe, weight, muscle, it all matters. It all matters. It's not true. People tell me, Size doesn't matter. Size, are you crazy? Size matters, man. Size, strength, endurance, technique, it all matters. That's the thing. Everything matters. Size, strength, technique, skill, creativity. It all matters. There's nothing that doesn't matter. That's a lie. That's the biggest lie people tell. Guys, I want to give a shout out to Man-Made, the guys who are, in my opinion, the greatest underwear company in history. They're going to be sponsoring this channel. They're going to allow us to continue flowing the content. Guys, I want to give a shout out to Man-Made. And of course, I just released my new instructional, guard retention. Okay, powerful guard retention, effortless guard retention. Check it out. Use promo code SUMMER50OFF and get 55% off anything on jujiclub.com. Guys, please make sure to get a man's guide to throwing a punch. It doesn't matter if you can retain guard. If you don't know how to throw a punch, you're not a martial artist. Okay, you have to. Every martial artist has to have a boxing routine. You have to know how to hit the bag. You have to know how to get in shape. You have to know how to slip a punch. You have to know how to defend an uppercut. You have to know how to do basic defensive maneuvers. You can't be a true martial artist if you don't know how to throw a punch. You need to have the fundamentals of basics of boxing. It's an incredible series on how to throw a punch. I want you guys to get it for your own benefit, okay? Don't be a guy who knows everything about guard retention, how to pass the guard, this and that. Guys, if I was here talking to Mikey Musumeci, I would tell him, look, please do me a favor. I'll give you a copy for free. Just learn how to throw a punch. Don't be a guy in a self-defense situation, you're a black belt, who's going to flop to guard, okay? You have to have a boxing routine. I don't care if you're a medal chaser in jiu-jitsu. I don't care. That's good for you. I'm happy for you. But please, as a man, you have to know how to throw a punch. I made that video to teach you guys sophisticated boxing routine. Okay, you can develop the highest level of boxing routine with those seeds. Okay, think about it as planting a seed. Over the years, you're going to learn how to throw a punch. The best cardio machine, guys, the best cardio machine ever was the heavy bag. Okay, I'm not going to say more than that, but please, guys, do yourselves a favor. Don't be a guy who knows everything about passing guard, retaining guard, leg locks, but you don't know how to throw a punch. Not possible. All right, guys, with that said, I'm opening it up now to absolutely anything. I got put to sleep with a high elbow guillotine. I thought moving to the side control beats it. Found out that it's not always the case. That's from MT. No, it's the opposite, MT. You cannot beat a high elbow guillotine by passing to side control. That's the beauty of high elbow guillotine. It stops the pass. Okay. Now, I have a video I released. Ultimate Guillotine Escapes. I released it not long ago. Get it. I explained how to defend against high elbow guillotine. There's like 3 major defenses, and none of them is jump to side control. None of them. Now, I do teach to jump to side control when you're in a arm in guillotine. Yes, one of the best things you could do is jump to side control. I show you guys a really good drill. When you shoot a double leg, a guy pulls guillotine, jump to side control. I don't think anybody should do. If you drill double leg, you need to drill how to pass somebody's guillotine. Because when you shoot a double leg, they're either going to sprawl, they're either going to underhook, or they're going to guillotine you. So if you're drilling double leg, in my opinion, if you drill double leg, you have to drill jumping to side control when the guy jumps to guillotine. Because when I shoot a double leg, the guy has 3 options. 3 major options, let's call it. 1, he could jump to guillotine. Well, I better know the answer to that. I better jump to side control right now. I show 2 ways to jump to side control. Or 2, the guy's going to sprawl. Well, if he sprawls, now I got to do all sorts of wrestling follow-ups. Or 3, he's got the underhook. If he gets the underhook, I got to know the follow-ups to that. Okay, so I would tell you guys, if you're drilling double legs, but you're not drilling double leg to side control, jumping to side control, you're going to eventually get guillotined. It's a matter of time. It's unquestionable. Okay, guys, I'm now doing absolutely anything. Ask me all your crazy questions, fitness-related or otherwise, or training-related. Guys, I'm always doing a mix of super chats and non-super chats. Who has best chance of beating Ilia at lightweight? That's from somebody, CVE, a very difficult name. I'm just going to call you CV, okay? Tsakurian. Outside of Makhachev, because I think he's going to probably win the welterweight title and stay at welterweight. It's going to be very hard for Makhachev to come back down, I think. I think also same thing. It's a matter of time before he was going to have to move up. I think Tsakurian has the best chance. The best chance of actually putting Topuria on his back and grinding him out to a victory. But I still would pick Topuria in that matchup. Unrelated question. I learned BJJ in a way that excludes all moves that don't work on all types of opponents. In other words, I am only learning technique that works on everyone, big or small. That's from John Doe. John Doe, that's what we call the basics. Okay. The basic moves, they work from white belt to black belt, and they pretty much work universally. Okay, so that's why I have a whole series called Advanced Basics, because I was like, those are the moves that 10 years from now we're still using. Okay, so it's absolutely important. We've thought about it before. Whoever's training you, I think, is doing you a super, super good favor. I would tell you, I teach 80% of the training, or I would love to say, 60 to 80% of what I teach is basics. And then 30-20% is weird stuff or stuff you don't see often. Why? It matters. It matters. If me and you are fighting and you're so orthodox, and then I throw you a curveball and you don't know what this curveball, you never seen it before, I'm beating you. And then the next time we roll, maybe I don't catch you with that curveball, but guess what? I got another bag of tricks that you're not used to seeing. And the thing is, if the practice room, all you do is teach the basics and everybody is orthodox, all you see is orthodoxy, and then you see a guy in a tournament, you go in a tournament, and there's a guy who does one trick, and you don't know that trick, you don't see it in the practice room, you're going to get bit. You're going to get bit by that trick. Look, I trained with Hodger Gracie. He's one of the greatest basics guys in history. He does the basics at the highest. It's incredible. But he's seen all the tricks. He doesn't like to practice the tricks, but he's seen it. He's got guys in the practice room that do these weird things, okay? I encourage it. I don't tell my students, don't do those weird tricks. I tell them, no, do it. If it's working for you, do it. But know that you have to do your basics too. Do the basics and have a bag of tricks. But your bag of tricks should not exceed 20-30% of your training time, because they don't work at highest levels if we know those tricks. They rely on surprise. They rely on somebody's ignorance. Okay, so if you catch people in a buggy, the next tournament, everybody knows you do the buggy. Guess what? It's a matter of time before the buggy choke doesn't work no more. I'll give you a really good for instance. J-Rod, when he did the qualifiers for ADCC, he buggy choked I don't know how many guys. Then he competed ever since. I haven't seen him hit a buggy choke since, and he's a buggy choke master. Well, I'm not saying he won't buggy choke anybody in the future, but there's been a dip in the level of buggy chokes that he's been scoring. Why? Well, everybody knows he's doing the buggy. Everybody's getting ready. Everybody's preventing. They're not getting caught by surprise. They're not like, hey, I wasn't expecting it. They're expecting it now. So I'm a big believer in doing the basics. At least minimum, I would tell you 50% of your training should be basics training. Basic takedowns, basic passing, basic guard pummeling, basic submissions, basic. And then I wouldn't go 50%, but I'm saying don't exceed. If you build a game that's built on 80% unorthodoxy, you're not going to last long. You're going to be one of those guys who just get beat all the time and you don't realize why, and you're training super hard and nothing's working and these guys are just beating you all the time. You're going to be one of those guys because he's thinking too outside the box, too much unorthodox. Do you think the jiu-jitsu advice of just show up applies to striking? It worked for me in BJJ, but I feel like I could lead to bad habits. That's from Matthew. If you mean by just show up means like it's just frequency that matters, I don't agree. I think that's a huge part of it. Like, I would tell you, look, somebody who trains really, really hard 3 days a week compared to somebody who trains moderately intensely 6 days a week, is the 6 day a week guy's going to win. If everything else is the same, I think frequent exposure is really important. Okay? But it's not everything. Okay? So I'm trying to make it clear. First, most important thing is how often you show up to practice, how many hours you put. Second most important thing is understanding. Okay? How much do you think about it? Like, do you reflect on practice? He did that. I should have done this. Do you theorize about practice? Do you sit around and think about it? I think that's the second most important thing. You're not just going through the motions without the light on. Like, you're like, okay, I'm thinking about what happened in practice. Like, I see guys who they'll get swept and the next day they'll get swept again in the same move and they'll just try harder. Their whole thing is like, I'm just going to try harder. They're not asking, hey, how come I'm getting swept? Like, what is it that what conditions is the guy meeting that sweeps me? Oh, he needs my leg here to make that sweep work. What if I put my leg there? It doesn't work no more. He's going to have to do something else. Let's see what he does today. Oh, I shifted my leg to a different position. He wasn't able to sweep me. He went to this. Why did he go to this? You start asking the why. Why? How come? Where? You're asking the questions. You're asking questions after practice. You're thinking. I think that's the second most important thing. Okay, so you're analyzing the practice room. This is really important. Okay, I would tell you that's the second most important thing. Why is frequency more important? Because people who just theorize, they're having a lot of theories, a lot of questions, but you got to go test those theories, because a lot of people think that they figure it out in their head, and they're just kind of doing what Steven Seagal does. They think it's in their head. No. You got to go on the mat and try it, man. Theories is one thing. You got to apply it. You got to test your theory, and then you get more information, and we theorize further, and we ask more questions. It's all about trial and error and thinking about it. Okay. Now, after that, I would say, like, go in the practice room with a goal. Okay. So I put goals for myself, and I don't tell people about it. I just do it. Sometimes I tell myself, look, I'm not leaving till I get at least 5 submissions today. I'm not leaving the practice room till I do 5 submissions. Or I'm not leaving the practice room till I've done 5 rounds today. I give myself quotas, and I have to figure out ways to get to that quota. I like to hang a carrot. Okay. So again, sometimes I might be like, okay, I'm not leaving the practice room till I get 7 takedowns, or I get, whatever, this position, or I'm able to, whatever it may be that I feel is going to need to. Sometimes I tell myself, I'm not leaving here till I pass 10 times. I'll leave past the guard 10 times today. I like to have a goal in practice. Now, do I announce my goal to everybody? No. Like right now, I'm currently trying to resolve a certain positional problem I'm having. So tonight I'm going to go and practice. I already did, today I did 3 rounds only in practice. I'm going to do at least another 2 rounds today, but I'm going to do this situation, and I'm having this problem area where, like, guys are getting stuck and it's wasting a lot of time on the clock. And okay, I'm going in that position today, and I'm not leaving that position to at least have some kind of, like, new way of thinking about it. Okay. I like having goals in practice. So number 1, frequency. Number 2, you got to ask yourself questions, guys. Asking questions, and not asking the professor, hey, professor, what do I do in this position? No, not necessarily. Asking myself, like, okay, I got pinned here today. What did the guy do to pin me? How come I wasn't able to, like, shrimp back to guard? What was blocking me? Oh, well, it's his arm position, and his weight is distributing, so he's blocking my left side. Oh, well, how is he blocking my left side? How can I free it? Maybe I ask one guy, then ask my professor, and I think about it, and I try to resolve the issue. I try to analyze the situation. This is huge. And then I try to watch matches, and I try to see, how do other guys deal with it? I do a lot of watching fights. I watch fights and I say, oh, I have a problem on the mat. I just noticed that this guy resolved the issue. I'm learning from observation. So being analytical, I think, is really massive. Very, very beneficial. All right, guys, don't forget, I'm always doing super chats and non-super chats. OJPC, you're a gentleman and a scholar. Thank you very much for that donation. You're a gentleman and a scholar. All right, gentlemen, we are 48 minutes in. Can a blind person become a black belt in jiu-jitsu? What do you think this challenge would be? He is athletic, young man, only crutch, he's blind. That's from Talal. Talal, I'll tell you something. I used to train a blind person in jiu-jitsu. I used to give that person privates. And that person was very well able to learn jiu-jitsu. Okay, it was a little bit more challenging because they can't observe the technique. They have to feel it. But they can absolutely learn jiu-jitsu. And I think it's a very, very, it's a phenomenal sport. It's a phenomenal sport for a blind person to engage in. It's super, super fascinating to me. I sometimes, when I roll, I close my eyes. I want to feel the position. I want to feel the weight, the distribution. And there's a lot of learning that you can do when you close your eyes. Now, the difficult thing is grabbing onto your opponent when you're fighting for grips, because you can't feel where their limbs are if you don't have a good connection. But once you guys are connected in a primary position, not in a scramble. A scramble is difficult. A scramble is when we're not so connected that we can immobilize one another. It's difficult. But obviously, if you're rolling with somebody who's blind, I personally would give them a connection of some sort and start playing from there. I wouldn't like whack at their arms, and it's not fair. Okay. But once connected, there's a lot to learn from the blind person. I think they can discover a lot. So I highly, highly recommend jiu-jitsu for somebody who's blind. I think it's a great sport for the blind. Absolutely, highly, highly recommend it. BJ Penn went down to 145. That's from Larry Bird. Yes, he did. But how did he perform at 145? He went at 155, then 170, then went back down to 155, lost his title. He won. He had two great performances. Kenny Florian, then he beat Diego Sanchez. Then he lost to Frankie Edgar. Then he went to 45. At 45, he didn't perform well. I think it's too much strain on his body. Way too much. Emmett is the most powerful puncher Ilia Topuria fought. That's from Meki. That's true. That's true. And he did it. That was one of his very, I mean, he had so many great performances. That was just, defensively, he showed a lot of great skill. I mean, he always shows great skill. But that was another great performance. I won't say it was his best performance because he had, obviously, the Volk performance and the Max Holloway performance. But that was another stellar performance. It was. And he handled Emmett quite beautifully. Okay, guys, I got to put a moron into... I erased this guy. I had to erase somebody from the comment. I had to erase him. He's no longer able to comment in our channel. Hello, coach. My first premature fight, a pre-amateur. What the hell is pre-amateur? My first, I guess, amateur fight is in August. Any tips? I have anxiety in front of a crowd. That's from Franz. Franz, I would tell you, look, don't focus on the crowd. Focus on the individual. Look at the individual. Realize that he's human like you. And look, here what I will tell you, okay? If you follow the basics, it's an amateur fight, it's your first one. Focus on the basics. No matter what's happening on the fight, don't worry about winning or losing. Focus on doing the basics perfectly. Is your hand in the correct place? Is your head moving correctly? Are your feet doing the right thing? If it's an amateur fight, like amateur boxing or amateur MMA, I highly recommend get a man's guide to throwing a punch and focus on the section of rhythm, the rhythm section. I have a whole section on rhythm. This is super important. If you do this right, you're going to beat, I would say, 50% of the guys. Just with this, 50% of people don't have this. In amateur level, at least minimum 50% don't have it. Mikey looks like he punched like a chick. That's from Larry Bird. Guys, I love Mikey Musumeci. I'm a big fan of his. I've met him in California. He doesn't look like a big puncher. No, he definitely doesn't. But I would never insult him, man. I have high respect for his skill. Coach, what happened to Tim Tam? That's from Ashmere. Guys, Tim Tam, it was a phenomenal company. Super honest guys. Incredible. They were super professional. These guys, I hooked up to them. These guys were doing headphones for MLB, for Major League Baseball. Like, these guys they are super professional. They just everybody got hurt with COVID. Okay, so it was a phenomenal company. Everybody was happy. Things were great. Before COVID, I personally was sponsored by like 4 different companies, okay, huge companies. And one of them was Jim King's. One of them was Tim Tam. I brokered a deal with Tim Tam. They're a super great company. COVID hit. They told us, oh, you guys are going to be out of commission for 2 weeks because the shipping from China is going to be shut down for 2 weeks. Okay, 2 weeks, not a big deal. But it turned out to be 2 years off and on. It was a nightmare. All the companies that were sponsoring me at the time all forfeited. I got a force majeure letter or act of God letter saying, hey, look, this breaches our contract because it's a force majeure, meaning it's out of the realm of responsibility for the company. And I totally understood. Personally, I understood. I will tell you, TriStar was closed for 2 years off and on. It was a very difficult time for me personally as a businessman. Everything was shut down. I was in the gym business in Canada. Canada was super strict on the gym world. Super strict. They were sending me the police on a regular basis. You guys who followed me for years, you know I had a beef with the police. I had a showdown with the police. I was in the front page of the newspaper. The police, me and the police, we had a mixed relationship. You know, we cooperated. We didn't cooperate. We had back and forths. We had a showdown. I'm not going to hash it out again, but let me tell you, I had a showdown with the police. They surrounded my building, 10 cop cars. Like, I thought like I became the Al Capone for a day of Montreal, which I thought was crazy. I thought they spent so much manpower on little old me. A little old me. I'm this big of a deal. I thought it was ridiculous that they put so much time and energy on me. But anyways, they did. I had a falling out with my neighbors over it because, you know, I had some not so friendly neighbors. And you guys rescued me. I did a video on it. It went viral. You guys went and you gave them negative reviews, and they came to me begging me to take the video down. Guys, I'll never forget how you guys rescued me. You crazy kid button pushers. Let me take a moment here to praise you guys, because I'll tell you something. You guys saved my gym. I'm telling you, my neighbors were calling the cops on me every day, even though I was just training a handful of guys who lived in the building. We have a dorms. We have a shout out to the TriStar dorms. Check out the description if you want to stay there. And we were training in the building, living there, and they were calling the cops, and the cops couldn't prove that we lived there. So they're like, hey, tell to the judge. And they kept giving me fines and kept harassing me. And thanks to you guys, we were able to get rid of those nosy neighbors who really, at the end of the day, just wanted my parking spots. They were using the police to try to get my parking spots. They were really rude to me, really viciously, just being evil, man. They were just being evil. I wasn't bothering anybody. I was training like young kids who were fighting for a living, trying to earn their living. Like, we're trying to make it here. It's a difficult time for everybody. I wasn't in any way cross-contaminating. I was using a different stairwell than them. They didn't have to see my face at all, but they wanted the parking spots that I pay for. If I can go to the work, if I can't go to the gym, they were going to park their luxury cars in my parking spot. And that was really the true reason why. They just wanted my parking spots. They want to ruin me. They didn't care if I went out of business just so they could have my parking spot. Like, really ruthless, not so nice people. And you crazy kids, you destroyed them online. You just punished them online. So much so that they had to come begging. Guys, they were scared to walk in the building because people were calling the company and leaving them not so nice messages. And they were telling me we're scared to enter the building. I was like, well, that's not me. That's out of my control. Because I called my lawyer. I'm like, can I tell my story? Can I tell my story about these? My neighbors are threatening me. And yeah, you can tell. I told the honest truth. About my dialogue with my not so nice neighbor. And you crazy button pushers, you went online and you put negative reviews, so much so that the guy came back crawling, begging me to stop the pain. And I eventually did, and he had to go on his way, and he cost him a pretty penny, and he had to leave, and he had to disappear into the night, and he got to salvage his company, I'm sure, and he went on his merry way. But justice was served. And why was it served? Alhamdulillah. I'll tell you, thank God. You guys, you crazy kids. And believe me, I didn't think the video was going to do that. I didn't think it was going to do that. The next morning, I woke up, my video was viral, and you crazy kids, think about it, you guys are just at home pushing little buttons. It blows my mind that somebody at home is pushing little buttons and it has such an effect. And people were pushing buttons from all over the world. And it has such an effect on my life. I'll tell you something. Even the police stopped harassing me. You guys even had an effect on the police. They even communicated with me. They're like, you know what? We don't need to make such a big deal out of it. I said, that's what I've been saying. Why is it such a big deal? We're such a small group of guys. We live in the building. This is a sterile environment. And, they're like, oh, we see it your way now. And, anyways, long story short, guys, you guys really saved me. And my heart goes out to you guys. Like, I really incredibly appreciate it. Next, are you familiar with the Whatever podcast? If so, would you ever do philosophical debate on there? That's from Dero Nomer. I have seen it. It's a viral podcast. It's like they bring these 304s there and they debate them. They're like 304 feminists, feminazis, and they're like trying to convince these Western civilization females to go back to how we used to be. It's impossible. It's crazy. It's crazy. Look, would I have a dialogue with them? Sure. The problem is I don't have the time. I honestly am the most busy individual on the face of the earth. Okay, I'm working, I'm in the gym literally 7 days a week. It's crazy. Would I do it? Yes. Would I ever find time to schedule it? Probably not. But if it ever so happened, I definitely would dialogue. Okay, I'm not going to prep a debate. I'm not going to go sit there and start thinking about the topic and do a debate. I'm not going to do a formal debate. Okay, because a formal debate, you have to do opening statements, you have to do rebuttals, you have to do research, you have to find the guy you're debating, what is his points. You got to do a lot of work. Guys, I'll never do that. Unless there's big money on the line, I'll never do it. But can I have a dialogue with somebody? Yes, because by dialogue meaning I'm going to go in unprepared. But I know the topic quite well. Feminism, socialism, liberalism. This is my field. I've done it. I know this field very well. So I'll have a dialogue with everybody. But I've seen the damage, the Whatsoever podcast. Guys, this is an uphill battle. I'm begging you guys to... I'm not trying to ask you guys to be male chauvinist pigs. No, I'm against the whole red pill. I don't think you should be toxic. But a real man doesn't get stepped on. A real man doesn't step on women. He treats women with respect. He loves his woman. He treats her well. Guys, I treat my wife super well. I don't think, if I saw a guy who doesn't treat his wife well, I couldn't be friends with that person. I'm telling you guys. If I saw a man who doesn't treat his wife well, I would tell you, I cannot be friends with that person. I cannot. I would object to the person. I would tell him, you know what? Listen, you treat me well, but I got to keep you at a distance. I've seen the way you treat your family, your wife. I don't respect that. I would get in the guy's face about it. I would be not so nice about it. And I've done that in the past, guys. I'll tell you, I've seen people not treat their wife so well. And I object to them. I tell them straight to their face. Okay, so please, I think feminism is a byproduct of men treating women badly. I don't blame women for it. I blame men for it. So I have a particular view. But I've seen how women have become in the West. And in the West, the women rule. Guys, I live in a place where the women rule. Their opinion matters more than men. If you get into a conflict with a woman, society sides with her by default first, and then you better have really strong evidence that she's in the wrong. Men get stepped on here, and I'm trying to encourage men to stand up for themselves and stop being such little you-know-whats. But I think that gets conflated with be toxic. And I don't want to be part of that. Okay, I don't think you should be toxic. There just should be a line where you say, look, don't cross that line no more because I'm not going to put up with it. And men need to go back to having a spinal cord, because the women are walking all over us. And I'm a Western man, guys. I live in the West. Why do you think I critique the West? Because I included and getting stepped on, not by my wife, not by my family, but in society. When I go out in society, I'm expected to yield and bend the knee and capitulate to a woman's opinion. No, I don't necessarily agree with her. And she could be a woman, and that's fine. She has to have a right opinion, then I'll agree with her. But because she's a woman doesn't mean I'm going to capitulate because she's a female. No, it's not going to work that way. And I'm seen maybe sometimes as not being so nice. But hey, guess what? To me, you have to have a valid, logical point, or I'm not going to agree with you. Okay. John Jones has retired. Yes, he has. And look, he has oh man. He has maybe another hit and run away from the scene, and maybe it hasn't been proven yet, but you know, there was that call. I heard it. My goodness, it sounds exactly like John, and he seems like he's high as a kite. And it's just, the man needs to hire a full-time chauffeur. Believe me, he's rich enough. He needs to hire a full-time chauffeur, and he needs to get sober. I'm a fourth-year medical student. What are your thoughts on learning and studying? I'm not naturally smart or sharp-minded. You've spoken about mind palaces among mnemonics. How should I think about it? That's from Darshan. Either, like when you have time off between semesters, do a deep dive in mnemonics, and or I will tell you, record your lessons, make a Cliff Notes version, like summarize them, and then do a recording and listen to that recording regularly. That's what I used to do, and it helped my memory training. Like, it was incredible. You have to frequently revisit the content. Okay, you have to extract the content, summarize it, add mnemonics if you can, and then record it and listen to that recording. I used to sometimes play video games and listen to my recordings. I used to commute, listen to my recordings. Like every time I had quiet time, I would listen to my recordings, and it made my memory much, because I'll tell you something, I wasn't like the natural learner. I wasn't, no. It was like exercise, okay? Like if you imagine I tell you, look, I was lifting weights 5 times a day regularly. You know, you like, that's what a memory is. You're working out your memory every day. My memory over time got stronger and stronger. And let me tell you something, I didn't have a natural memory. I wasn't like this natural memory guy. No. I had to work my memory. All right, guys, let's see here. What else we got here? Coach, my wife is a nightmare to live with. Only reason I stay is because I know she will never let me see my kids again. Ooh. RA. Guys, RA, listen to this man's pain. RA says, Coach, my wife is a nightmare to live with. Only reason I stay is because I know she will never let me see my kids. Guys, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this situation. I've seen many men, guys, at my age. I'm not shy to say I'm 45 now. At my age, I've seen many men in this situation. It's such a painful, gutting situation. You see, here's the dynamic, okay? Boy meets girl. Now in our day and age, they wait till they're 30-ish to get married. The girl's really desperate to get married. She's like, he could leave me for a younger girl. Like, I got to rope him in. So she's like on the best behavior. She's like, it's do or die now. I either get married now or I'm going to be put up on the shelf because nobody wants me. And it's going to be difficult for me to compete with these younger girls. So she goes on this ultra good behavior, treat you like so good, baby trap you, tell you she's on the pill. She's not really on the pill. Oh, I got pregnant. Let's get married. She's like super biological clock is ticking. She needs that baby and she needs that commitment now. I see it a mile away. The couple met. They were 25. They've been dating a few years. Let's get married. Why not? She's the right one. We've been together. The pressure. Then they have 1 or 2 kids, 3 kids. Boom. The power shifts. First, she had no power. You had all the power because a man gets more handsome as he gets older. He finally can grow a full beard. He has more money. He's wiser. He's not as naive as before. He's not as maybe he's more muscular. He takes care of himself. He's more, his looks are going to be better. He's reaching his prime and she's past her prime. Her prime was, let's call it talk about best looking when she was her best looking. 19, 25, 26, 20. Okay, now we're starting to see signs of aging. She's passing that prime, that youth look, that look of pure youth. Now she knows the clock is ticking and the roles are reversing. But when she has the first kid, second kid, and you're making money and she was taking care of those kids, now the judge is going to give her a half. Now the power dynamics shifts. Oh, bad one. And now the kids are attached to her because they're young and she was closer to them while you were at work. She was bonding with them. Guys, the dynamic changes and so does her mind. She realizes now she's Genghis Khan. And you're just a villager, screaming villager. That's all you are. Now, believe you, my friend, she's going to take your money. She's going to take that child support. She's going to take that money. And now you're like our friend. What was his name? R.A. On your knees begging. Suffering. That's why you got to be, you young guys who are going to get married, you got to do like Coach did. Coach was smart. Coach saw the battlefield. It's like, okay, look, what happens to men when they're 30? What happens to men when they're 40? What happens to men when they're 45? Coach, she looked at the battlefield because so many men already went on the battlefield and many died. Many were successful. I'm asking you guys to look at the battlefield in the future. Statistically, we're talking about 52% divorce rate. 52% divorce rate in the West. It's pretty astronomical. Guys, look at the people in France, the men in France. Feminism is so powerful that a married man is not allowed to ask for a paternity test. Legally speaking, he's not allowed to ask for a paternity test. Even if his son looks exactly like the male man, he's not allowed to ask for a paternity test. Why? The government says no. The government says it could break out the very few nuclear families they have. It could break up the very few nuclear families they have. France is hanging on to try to keep the nuclear family. They want to keep the French breeding. They have such a hard time. The birth rate is so low. They're saying if we allow paternity tests, there's going to be even more divorces. It's going to break the fabric of the society. Think about if society tells you, no, you're going to have to raise another man's child, and that's the law. Too bad, so sad. You're not allowed to verify. Well, he doesn't look anything like me. Actually, I think he's probably from a different race. Too bad, so sad. Can't do it. What kind of country is that? What kind of man? What happened to the men in this country? Believe me when I tell you feminism is powerful, and that's coming to Canada, my friend. Those kind of rules are coming to Canada. Those kind of rules, maybe, I don't know if they're going to come to America, because Americans are more resilient than we are, the Canadians. But I will tell you, my friends, it wouldn't surprise me if one day, by law, you have to raise other men's children, which is crazy. Coach, have you already addressed the J-Rod situation? That's from another difficult name, GZ. GZ. That's a difficult name. I heard he had, I'm not too familiar, but I heard he got kicked out of B team because he had pictures or something. I think he did like an AI. I don't know. Did he use AI to create provocative pictures or something like that? Look, I don't know. But I'll tell you this, okay? If I checked every member's phone in my gym, I'd have to kick out a lot of people. I'm pretty sure. Okay, so I heard it was leaked because some of my students were talking to me about it. I heard it was leaked from an ex-girlfriend. She hacked into his phone, or she got into his phone and she found it. Guys, if I checked all your phones, if I made you guys all hand in your phones and I opened up the vault, I'm sure I would have lots of people to ban from the gym. Does it make it right? Does it make it wrong? I don't think it's right. Obviously, I don't think it's right. I don't do it. I don't think it's right. You should never do that. I personally would never do that. But I think a lot of people have weird things like that. Okay. Is it healthy? Is it good? Do I condone it? No, it's not good. It's bad. Haram. Mamnua. Not good. Pas bien. Don't do it. Okay. No bueno. I don't know how many languages I can tell you. But because it was a hack or somebody violated his privacy, I wouldn't have made it public. If it landed on my lap, I'd be like, look, man, erase this stuff. So don't do this, man. Like, are you crazy? You're being a creep. But the thing is, if he was doing it publicly, if he was posting things, I'll be like, I got to kick you out. But I'm sure a lot of people have shameful things in their computers, in their laptop, in their phones. But this was a girlfriend breaching privacy. She wanted to hurt him. She was malicious. She's doing it because she knows she wants to ruin his life. Like, or she's angry about it or whatever. It's just like, here's the thing. Let me tell you guys something, okay? Humanity has a dark side. If anybody has studied psychology, all human beings have a dark side, including the most innocent looking, friendly person. Every human being has a dark side. It's part of human nature. Okay? Don't ever see somebody on TV and think that person is so good, they're so sweet, they're so kind, they don't have a dark side. Yes. And even women have a dark side. I would love to check her phone, actually. I would love to go through her texts and pictures and stuff that she deleted. I'm sure I can find things that people would object to and want to kick her out for. Okay? Because in my opinion, every human being has a dark side. And of course, we're all embarrassed of it and we don't want to make it public. And if people saw it, they would be, not so happy about it. Okay? But you show me a person that doesn't have a dark side, I will tell you he's 1 in a million. Statistically speaking, I will tell you that. They do exist. They do exist. I won't say no. They're 1 in a million. Now, there's some things that are so dark. They're like, hey, man, I don't care how we found it. We want you out. I agree with that, okay? There are things that are so dark, unforgivable. I don't know if that was the case because I honestly don't know what they found on his phone, so I can't tell you. But I'm sure there's a lot of things people have on their phone that a lot of people want to kick you out, but they forget people have a dark side. Now, how dark was it? There's certain things that I think personally I can't forgive, and you got to go, and I don't care if we found it, which way we found it. If it exists on your phone, you're out. Was it that level? I personally don't know because I don't want to go by rumors and hearsay, but from what I understand, it wasn't anything underaged. It wasn't anything like real pictures or something like that. Because somebody, from what I heard, okay, and again, I guess it might be factually incorrect, it was pictures he took off Instagram. They were publicly posted pictures. But from what I understood, the girlfriend was upset that he's lusting after these girls that they know personally. So that's made her angry. So anyways. Again, guys, I don't know all the details, but as long as it's not something illegal, it's not the end. I don't know the details. But if somebody did something illegal, I'll kick him out. I don't care how it surfaced. If you're 35 and you want to start wrestling and BJJ for MMA or for self-defense, yeah, of course, 35, guys. There's a lot of people who start at the age of 35. 35, if you take care of yourself, it's not old, guys. Look, I'm 45 and I feel young. I feel good. I feel in shape. I train every day. I don't feel like, I'm so old, I can't train. No, I can learn new things and I can adapt and I can train. It's not... People who get old don't know better, okay? It's just ignorance. You don't know how to take care of yourself, okay? I highly recommend get Strong and Stable videos on Juju Club. Get them. They teach you how to stay young, fit, and get Fasting for Fitness. It's a book. It's a video book. It's an audio book. It's an actual book. You get a PDF if you want to read it. If you want to listen to it, get it, okay? It teaches you how to fast. Fasting will keep you young. It'll keep you in shape. People look old because they're fat. They gain fat, okay? I'm wearing a size small shirt, okay? This is, again, guys, made from Man-Made. It's called Man-Made, the company. They make this breathable antibacterial cloth. I find it's a little bit of loose. This is a size small, okay? Guys, I wish I would get extra small. I'm going to tell them. I'll call them up, guys. I wish it was more fitted, okay? Now, I'm not going to stand up because I'm actually wearing the underwear right now. Guys, I can't tell you how incredibly good this underwear is. I talked about it in the beginning of the podcast. There's no underwear on the face of the earth this good. When I first put them on, I'm like, what? These guys went totally viral. I put it on, I'm like, okay, it's great, but it's not worth it's not as crazy as I thought. But then I was wearing them for the first time going to a wedding. 5 hours in them, 6 hours. I was like, this is the greatest invention in underwear history. It's crazy comfortable and it's breathable and it doesn't stretch out. They keep their shape. They're incredible. The best underwear I've ever worn. But you got to wear them for like 5-6 hours to feel the difference. Because when I first put them on, I'm like, oh, I like them. They look good. They feel good. But the hype is too crazy because they're a cult. I'm telling you, everybody raves about these underwear. Raves. Everybody talks. Everybody who's ever worn them, you got to try it. It's the best. I'm like, guys, it's underwear, man. Like, I have other things to do in my life. I wear them every single day. I come home from practice. I shower. I put them on. I feel amazing. I feel relaxed, comfortable. I sleep in them now. They gave me a whole truckload of them. That's all I ever wear. I love it. And I'm telling you guys, I haven't even signed my contract with them. I don't care if they don't even go through with the deal. I don't even care. I just want their product. I don't care. I really enjoy the product that much. You never have to. One crazy thing is they say when you wear this underwear, it doesn't shift. It's true. They don't shift. You never have to play around. You never get wedgies. These guys are geniuses, man. They took something that exists for I don't know how long, countless centuries, and they made it better. 4 guys from Canada, Montreal, 4 geniuses. Louis Pick, thank you very much. You're a gentleman and a scholar. What do you think of Greg Jones? I met him last in UFC Montreal. He was nice. We chit-chatted for a minute or two. We took a picture together. He's a real cool guy. Super nice. I wanted him to do a seminar at TriStar, but we were all both too busy. My brother was fighting. He had, he was doing the main event. So JDM was fighting. So I was like, oh, it's just we're both too busy. And he even told me, he's like, sorry, man, I got too lazy. And I'm like, I know he's busy. He's super busy. I've been there. It's crazy. We both had fighters on there. So it was just a crazy time. But next time he comes to Montreal, I'd love to have him in the gym. Dero Nomer, you're a gentleman and a scholar. Thank you very much for that donation. Coach, in AMA 136, you wanted to know exactly how I broke my shin bone in BJJ. How can I reach you? That's from Vanderlei Silva. Vanderlei Silva, I wish you would have just messaged it right here, right now. I can't give you my personal information because I'm going to get blown up, right? Everybody's going to be sending me messages. I wish you would have just wrote it right here, right now. Or send me a super chat telling me how you broke it. All right, guys, we're an hour and 18 minutes in. I'm going to have to keep this one a little bit shorter. I'm going to go on for a little bit, but I'm just letting you guys know. How would you and John Danaher have prepared GSP if you ever faced Khabib? Would you have brought in Gordon and the new wave guys to help prepare? That's from Mikey Pabua. Mikey definitely would have used John, of course. He's one of the great masterminds of George's career. And we would have used Gordon and the crew, of course, 100%. We would have used a lot of wrestlers. We have a great wrestling club in Montreal, a lot of elite wrestlers. I would have wanted to bring in guys who are really strong at gut wrench because I find Khabib has one of the greatest gut wrench ever in MMA. And I think that would be a major problem if George were to find himself in that position. We'd have to make sure he doesn't get controlled in that position. That's a very difficult position to get out of. You could see every single guy he's ever put in a gut wrench had a majorly difficult time. It seemed to be very draining. And I'm a big gut wrencher myself. I'm a lover of the gut wrench. I'm a huge lover of the gut wrench. I put people in gut wrench every single day. Guys, I roll every single day, often twice a day. And I love gut wrench. I'm the gut wrench fool. One day I'll do a video on gut wrench. I just don't think the world is ready for gut wrenching. You're going to break people's ribs. Like, it's such a violent way to control a man. There's no real perfect answer to gut wrench. It's tough. Even guys who know how to defend against gut wrench, they have a difficulty. It's just a tough position. And that I'll put a lot of focus on that. And I will try to keep it striking. I think George can outpoint him at a correct distance. Coach, comment je viens m'entraîner à Montréal? Je suis en France. Mohamed, just book your flight. Come train. We train people every day from all over the world. We're in the gym all day long, my friend. Do you know what the meaning of the name Zahabi is? I came across a few Jewish people with the surname and understood that it common surname in Hebrew and means gold. That's from Jonathan. Jonathan, yes, Al Zahabi. We say Zahabi, but really it's Zahabi. And my name's El Zahabi, which means the golden, the gold, you know. So sometimes my Arabic friends, they call me, oh, golden boy, hey, golden boy, you know. Zahabi means gold, Dahab, gold. Yes, 100%. Very familiar with that. Muhammad, okay, one day I'm going to come. Inshallah, my friend, I'll be waiting for you. We're going to have a death match on the mats, my friend. You just show me, you say, I'm Muhammad from France. I've come to challenge you. I'll know I'll remember who you are. No, it will be fun. Please do come down. I try to train with everybody in the gym. Coach, how does Paddy fare against Ilia? That's from Rob R. That's a good fight. That will be a good fight. I just think Ilia puts it on him. These guys don't like each other. They have beef from back in the day. I was at the hotel once when they got into a beef. I had arrived after their beef, and people were talking to me about it. I was like, really? They almost fought here in the hallway, and they're like, yeah. And I was like, goodness gracious. But these guys don't like each other, and they probably will cross paths. If I had to pick a guy for that, I'll pick Topuria. But that's it's going to be a challenge. That'll be a tough one. Coach, can you talk about the crypto market? Will we have an alt season, and what do you think of Sui? That's from Katu. Katu, I haven't done the deep dive on Sui. I think Bitcoin is going to go up forever. I think it's just going to be one of those things that's going to outlive us. We're going to be dead in the earth. And generations from now will be like, I can't believe people back in the day weren't buying it when it was only at 100,000. That's my opinion. It's going to go to 1 million in our lifetime, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Don't take that as advice, okay? And I was a very, very early adopter. I bought long before Sailor. Okay, I bought a long time before Sailor. My older brother got into it, and he told me all about it. And you know, he convinced me to buy it. I bought it at a very long time ago. And I will never sell it. I will just borrow against it if need be, but I'll never sell my crypto. I will go to the grave handing my crypto over to the kids. And I want them to keep it in the family forever. And maybe the Zahabi name will be like the Rockefeller name one day, because we bought crypto back in the day when it wasn't cool. And I think there's going to be other great cryptocurrencies that are going to emerge. But who knows? Those are all, in my opinion, highly speculative. You can lose big. You can win big. You can lose big. But Bitcoin, I think, is not going anywhere. There's a reason why it costs $100,000 today. All right, guys, give me 1 second. My phone is pinging here. It might be something important. Got to check on my wife, guys. She's asking for me. Let me just see if it's anything important. All right, Coach, you didn't answer my other question. If we will have an alt season this time. That's from Katu. It's weird. This cycle is very different. It was very, very different. Alt season, I think, is a matter of time, but I don't think until Bitcoin hits 120, 125, I don't think we're going to see an alt season just yet. I think Bitcoin's going to make another major run. And then it's going to be Ethereum as usual. Ethereum, people I believe are secretly buying it. There's rumors that people are secretly buying it. Big companies are buying it. And then it's going to be some new technology that's going to make a huge bump nobody expected. It's always like that, some kind of weird coin we never heard about. And people are going to get rich off altcoins, but only 1%, less than 1% of people are going to get rich on altcoins. A lot of people are going to get pulled. Altcoins the smaller coins are super, super speculative. You can make it big, but you could also lose big, and most people will lose. All right, guys, what else we got here? Give me something fun, man. You guys are giving me two Coach, what do you think of VR boxing game? That's from Extra. I played it once. It was cool, but I got bored of it after like maybe 10 minutes. I got bored of it. How do you feel about Justin Trudeau's financial advisor becoming prime minister? That's from Talal. Is that lady there? Did she become... No, she's not prime minister. No, he's not... what's his name again? The new prime minister. Carney. I was forgetting his name for a second. He wasn't Trudeau's financial minister. Will strong and stable knees for life fix my knees even if they are weak? That's from Evangelist. Yes, of course. What do you think it's for? For people who are strong? No, it's meant to build your knees. Guys, make sure to pick up my new, it's up on the screen now, my new powerful guard pass retention video. It is super, super awesome. Make sure to pick it up. I also include 3 stretches every guard player should do. When you're not doing conditioning after practice, you feel like your body's a bit cooked, you're going to stretch out, do these 3 stretches. If you do these three stretches over time, give it 6 months, okay? Don't just try to stretch your leg in one day. No. Give it time. It will do wonders for your guard retention. Just the stretching alone, even if you didn't have the technique, okay? But plus the technique, because I'll tell you something, flexibility makes a crazy difference for guard retention. It makes a crazy, wild difference. If you increase your flexibility in these key 3 stretches, let's say 5 or 10%, in my opinion, it's going to multiply. It's going to be like 20% increase in guard retention because it makes such a big difference. And I've noticed that guys that don't have this flexibility in their legs, they always had poor guards. They always have to, like, when people are passing their guard, they're the guys who have to turn to their knees. They have to go to single leg. They have to go to underhook. They have to, you see wrestlers like that. They don't have that mobility. So when you kind of pass their guard, they always invert. Then they get caught in guillotines, or they get swept, or they get their back taken. Like they get put back on they get flipped over on their back, I should say, or they get their back taken often, or they get anaconda choked. Why? They have no guard. They have to turn to their knees. Or they have to bump from side control and try to like muscle their way back to their feet, like, you know, just by bench pressing you off. Mobility is an issue. Did you speak French well, or I'm gonna have to speak English? That's from Mohammed. Je parle français, mon ami. Inquiète-toi pas. Quand tu viens, je vais être capable de parler en français avec toi. Bien sûr, mon ami. If I come to TriStar, learn English with internet. I never talk English with somebody in real life. That's from Mohammed. Mohammed, it will be good for you. You'll learn some English. I'll translate what you didn't understand. Je suis très content de parler en français. Ça va être mon plaisir, mon ami. Et oui, je suis très capable. You came to CT in 2014 and did seminar at Henzo's. That was when I just had my MMA debut. You said when rolling on the bottom, you gotta be like a ball. That's from Alan. Alan, that was great memory you have there, man. Thank you for remembering me. And that was back in 2014. Wow. 11 years ago. Wow. Yes, that is true. When you're on the bottom, you got to be like a ball. And I will tell you, in that new video I come up with, I talk about certain concepts, okay? And yes, being like a ball is definitely one of the most key elements of retaining guard. If you become like a rectangle, you're probably going to get passed. Coach, how do you see Khamzat's cardio doing against Duplessis, and who will be able to improve it? That's from Andre. Andre, that's the thing, you know, Duplessis also had some issue with cardio a little bit too. Like, watch his fight with Adesanya before he finishes him. Hey, call me crazy. He looked a little tired. DDP looked a little tired. Please, guys, go back and watch it again. He was like breathing heavy, and he wasn't super energetic. Adesanya was kind of, you know, working his thing, and then he got taken down and got subbed all of a sudden. Like, he pulled out energy. He had a blitz in him. DDP definitely blitzed him. He had a surge of energy. He broke the rhythm. He was in a certain slow rhythm. Maybe he did it on purpose. Maybe he was playing possum, but he didn't look super energetic in round 4. Then he had this burst of energy. I don't know what to make of it. I think that DDP doesn't have like this increasing energy every round. He gets stronger. He doesn't have that Marab thing. He does definitely not. So look, Khamzat, we've seen him go a little slower as the fight goes. He goes a little slower. We know that he's the best in round one. He could beat anybody in round one. Round one, he's the best. Round one, nobody could touch him. Round one, no man can win round one with Khamzat. No man. And the first guy to win round one with Khamzat is probably going to beat him. DDP is going to lose round one. But who's going to win round 3, 4, and 5? That's the big question. I'm picking Khamzat for this fight. I'm going to do a whole breakdown on it, I'm sure. If I have the time, hopefully time permits. But I don't think DDP's cardio is invincible either. All right, guys, I'm looking at the poll that I put in. Who wins, Topuria or Oliveira? 62% say Topuria. I'm shocked. That's so much of you. So many of you have so little faith in Topuria. I might be eating my words next week, guys. I might be eating my words. I might be completely off. I'm shocked. I thought it was going to be 80-20. That's why I wasn't even going to do an analysis. I wasn't even thinking of doing a pre-fight analysis for this fight. I thought we're all going to be in an echo chamber. We're all going to be agreeing that Topuria is going to win. Look at this. 62% think Topuria is going to win. Only 62%. We have 28% going with Oliveira. I think personally you guys are voting with your hearts. And 10% saying no. They're both going to knock each other out. I'm going to end the poll right now. Cement it. I'm shocked, guys. I'm really shocked. If you control every step, how would you turn a 186 centimeter, 120 kilogram, 20-year-old hard puncher with bad technique into a well-rounded beast in 6 years, A to Z path? That's from Football Channel. How much is that in feet? 186 centimeters into feet. That's 6.1. Okay, so the guy's a monster. How would I turn him into a monster? Well, look, I would put him on a wrestling and jiu-jitsu drilling. I'll make him do a lot of wrestling because I have only 6 years. I'd make him do wrestling drills and jiu-jitsu drills every day. I wouldn't make him roll just yet. I'd make him drill. And I'd make him shadow box every day. I'd make him move every day like I want him to move in the fight. And I would do some kind of conditioning, just physical fitness, okay? Then I would slowly move into combat scenarios, fight simulation, okay? So we do like jab drills. I will make him do like positional training. Like I wouldn't just throw him into sparring. No, I wouldn't, okay? But I would make him do like games. I would do like, some people might call it ecological. I would make him do situation, okay? Where half guard, your job is to pin him. I do a lot of things there where he can have success because he's new. And he knows the movements I want him to do because I've been making him drill, okay? Then slowly I would work him into less and less controlled sparring. I would make the transition, okay? But at first I would do a lot of drilling and a lot of conditioning also. I try to pick up his athleticism. Because in my opinion, if the guy has a bad experience in practice, let's say he gets beat up too much, he gets subbed too much, he just doesn't have faith in these techniques. He thinks these techniques, I drilled for an hour and didn't do anything. I would make him drill till there's a cohesiveness in his techniques, and I would make him do situational, positional things where he'll have success. And then eventually I'll take the restrictions off and kind of allow him to go deeper in the game. Because I also believe that you got to go deep in the game because you might pass my guard. I inverted, I turtled, I rolled into your legs, into leg locks. You got out of the leg lock. Then I started attempting to pressure pass you, and we went deep in an exchange. And in that exchange, there's like a mental toughness, because the game's never ending. It's just there's so many files. I have to go in so many files, like games I've played, like I have to go into my leg lock system. I have to go into my armbar system. I have to go reach into so many different places that I've trained, and they're going from one to another. That there's a kind of like a cohesiveness. So I believe that general training is also very important. The closer you get to your fight, the more general is important, and the further you are from your fight, the more specific training needs to be done. So sometimes I find guys are really good in positions, but then when we mix them all up, they make mistakes. The in-betweens, they fall short in the in-betweens. All right, guys, I'm going to end it very shortly. Please, let's end it on a fun one now. We've been doing an hour and 35 minutes. Assalamu alaikum, coach. Who is your favorite Sahaba? of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam besides the Khalifat? Oh, that's a good question. That's a very tough question. Wow. Oh my goodness, that's a really strong question. Hold on. Abdullah. I'm going to tell you probably Abdullah. Let me just get his name. Abdullah ibn Umar ibn al-Khattab. Okay, Abdullah. Why? Because when the civil, I hate to say war, but when the civil friction started, he refused to fight. He broke his sword, refused to fight. I thought he did the wisest thing. He refused to partake in the struggle. Okay, so I think he was the wisest of the, how do we call them again? Not the Khalifat, but the, I'm forgetting the term now. How can I forget this term? This happens to me. I hate it when it happens to me. I have the tip of my tongue. Not the second generation, the generation right after. Actually, no, they are the next generation. I'm forgetting the name now. My apologies. But Abdullah ibn Omar bin Khattab was, in my opinion, one of the wisest of the Sahaba. Okay, but then, of course, you have Hussein and Hassan, radiallahu anhu. They were also my favorite. Equally my favorite, I would say. Maybe, okay, Hassan but also Hassan was a Khalifat, actually, technically. So then it would have to be Hussein and then Umar. But I found that Umar he had one thing that was really incredible about him. He was very wise. Very wise. He didn't partake. He refused to partake. And I thought he was brilliant. The shin broke from a takedown. Okay, so this is Wanderlei Silva. He broke his shin grappling, guys, which is very rare. And I was very curious. The shin broke from a takedown, from behind, got into hospital and got a titanium plate plus 9 screws. Got it removed last year. I'm back on the mat now. That's from Wanderlei. Wanderlei, let me tell you something, okay? Please. You need to run on a regular basis. One of the best ways to strengthen your shins, people don't know this, it's running. Call me a liar. Check the studies. Running increases shin density. Now, let me ask you a question. What's the one exercise all Thai fighters do every day and oftentimes twice a day? What is it? I don't have to tell you. Running. Why do you think when they kick, they don't break their leg? Now, I'll tell you something. Also, kicking the... Excuse me. Oof, sorry. Burp came up the wrong way. Apologies. We kick the bag on a regular basis. I haven't seen a study on bag kicking, but I guarantee you kicking the bag will toughen up your shins. I guarantee you. So I do a routine where I kick the bag. I eat Greek yogurt, calcium. I toughen up my shins. Of course, running. I do interval running, sprinting. Make sure to check out Strong and Stable Running for Life. Okay, it's going to keep you young, youthful. It's going to keep your testosterone pumping strong. Okay, you have to do sprints. It's going to make your shins super strong. Your shins were brittle. That's why they broke. I hate to say it. Okay, please don't take it the wrong way. Resistance training, running, low impact plyometrics, depth jumps. These are all things that are proven to build bone density. And I will tell you, I'm sure, even without a study, kicking the bag, having a kickboxing routine will toughen up your shins. You're slamming your shins into a bag. The shock will increase bone density. Guys, please, I'm begging you. Increase bone density. Get sufficient amount of calcium. Okay. Eat meats. Eat flesh foods. Okay. Don't make me take off my shirt, guys. Please. I'm a bashful man. Don't make me take off my shirt. You want to be lean? You want to be trim? You want to be durable? You don't want your bones to break on you? Bones can break, guys, but shins is very rare. Off wrestling is very rare. It can happen. I've seen it once before, but it was a girl. She got her shin. She was rolling around. She was wrestling with men, and she got her shin broken. Okay, now, women's bone density, I'm not trying to be sexist here, is not as strong as a man. Okay, there's a reason for that. Men have thicker bones. That's the truth. Okay, now a woman can wrestle. I've seen many women wrestle healthy and they don't get hurt. They have to be, I think this girl particularly, she was in danger because she was wrestling with a bigger, stronger guy. Not much bigger, but bigger, stronger. Okay, there was a strength differential. And maybe she wasn't as conditioned as she should be. And but also, I think if she was rolling with another girl, I think girls, when they roll with girls, they get they have less chances of getting injured. Okay, that's just been my personal observation. Not trying to make a sexist comment, it's just a safety issue. I always recommend the girls in the club. I always recommend try to roll with girls as much as possible. Okay, one, it gives less problems in the gym, but two, less injuries, because girls always complain to me they got hurt, and they roll with this guy and this guy's going too rough. And I always tell the guys, if you roll with a girl, if you roll with somebody smaller than you, and generally the guys are bigger, be careful. Priority first is always safety. Safety, safety, safety. I hate to see somebody get injured in practice room. I hate it. Now, you want to toughen up your bone density, you have to lift weights. In my opinion, you have to do sprints. Okay, studies show sprints, not just running. I think sprinting is better. Okay. Low impact plyometrics and proper diet, including flesh foods. Flesh foods is very good for proteins, and it's going to help if you take calcium. Okay, you get calcium from your flesh foods and low-fat Greek yogurt, guys. Low-fat Greek yogurt, in my opinion, should be part of your diet. It's so important. It's such a nutritionally dense, highly nutritious, low-cal food. It's going to help you keep slim, trim, and super healthy. Khalid ibn Walid, of course, another amazing Sahabi that was. I can name you so many that I love. But Umar, in my opinion, was Umar's son, Abdullah, was a genius. He was super smart. It was so tempting for him to fall into the drama, and he really tried to allow for the drama to subside. He was the smartest of the smart. He broke his sword. He just would not partake into it. I found it incredibly wise. Why is Greco so underrated? That's from Better. I'll tell you something. It's not the most exciting sport to watch. Now, the highlight videos are incredibly exciting. But when you watch a match, it's like, we're waiting for somebody to get a throw. It's just not the most... They have to change the rules so that everybody is like falling into a throw, because it would be a super popular sport and it would be much more watchable. I think it's an incredible sport, but personally, I don't watch it. Why? Because it's so unexciting. It's so uneventful. But it's a grueling, difficult sport, and it produces great athletes. Coach, is it true that Montreal has the best bagels? That's from Eddie. We are known for our bagels, friends. And I love bagels, guys. I'm a bagel lover. And yes, we have phenomenal bagels. All right, guys, I'm going to end it very, very shortly. That was a fun one. I could have ended it on that one, but I'm not. I'm going to do one more fun one. Seven Adams, I think we're already in touch with them. Please put attention to Jeremy. Okay. All right, guys, let's end it on something light and humorous. Not suppose your will, impose your will. Impose your will. $24 for boxers is crazy, Coach. Guys, I thought that too. It's the greatest boxers I've ever worn. I'm wearing them right now, guys. I can't stand up right now because it's indecent. It's indecent. But I'm telling you guys, they make it out of a material called Model. I was looked it up. I'm like, what is this material? It's antimicrobial. It's super breathable. There's no seams. There's no wedgies. There's no bunching. I literally look forward. I shower at least twice a day. Okay. I come home after practice. I shower at home. I don't like to shower at the gym because it's too busy, too many people. So I just go home and shower. I put on my boxers and I lay down. I relax, man. It's so relaxing. I have the house to myself now because my kids are finished school. So they're all their grandparents. I have me and my wife at home. So I just in my boxers every day. And after gym at night, I shower and go to my boxers. I'm telling you, it's so crazy comfortable. Now, I'll tell you something. The hype was so crazy. And I heard about them, but I never tried to buy their product. And then they came to start to meet me, and they're like, look, we love your gym. We love your story. We love you guys. They saw, like this and that. So I'm like, okay, cool. We're going to send you a package. We want to sponsor you guys. I'm like, okay, thank you guys. I haven't had a sponsor that I like in a while because I've had many offers, but I don't like the product. I'll never work with a product I don't like. And I have to really like the product. I get product offers all the time. I put it on. I'm like, wow, these are nice boxers, but I'm not going to tell the world about it. It's not that. I mean, it's nice, but it's not like I had just put them on. I was telling my wife, like, these guys are so popular. And I'm like, they're $24, man. That's change. I buy like 10 pair for $20, I'll never wear those other underwear again. Ever. The sweat, I put them on. I went to a wedding. One of my students was getting married. At hour 3, I started to realize I was crazy comfortable. Now, they sent me a whole ton of underwear. And the shirt, this is their shirt. Okay, now I like the shirt, but the underwear is another level. I'll tell you something. By hour 4 and 5, I couldn't shut up about it. I was telling everybody at the wedding, oh my God, I've never been this comfortable. I've never been this breathable. I've never been this happy. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do the deal with these guys. And I'll tell you something. I haven't even signed the paperwork. I haven't told them I accepted. I told them I like the product after. I told them, guys, I went to a wedding. I love the product. I haven't even linked the deal. I'm so confident to tell you guys about it because I know everybody who buys it are going to love it. Now, I have pairs. I have enough pairs to wear twice a day. Now, I wear one a day. Don't get me wrong. But they were generous with me. I'll tell you something. I look forward to putting it on. It's crazy. I know I'll never talk about a product that's not really that great. I love this product, man. It's crazy. If you have the means, get some. And get some to get one for every day because you're going to want to wear it every day. It's crazy comfortable. When you're going to put them on, you're going to be like, what's this coach talking about? Keep them on. Wait till hour 3, 4, 5, and 6. You won't be able to shut up about them. I'm telling you. And then when you take them off and because I take them off to go to the gym, I put on other stuff. I put on my stretchy pants and because I don't want to get ringworm or whatever. I'm like, man, I'm not as comfortable as when I'm wearing them. And it's a mind blow because after hour 6 or 7, I was like, I couldn't shut up about it. And now, from now on, whenever somebody gets a gift from me, I'm telling you that's the gift they're getting because it's the greatest gift you can give a friend. It's the best gift you can give somebody. But one thing is you got to buy 6 of them. Why? Because you need 7 of them. You need one for every day. Because laundry days once a week. You got to have one for every day because I'm telling you, you're not going to go back to anything else. That's the downside. And here's the good side. Okay, I'll tell you why they're $24. They don't stretch out. They don't get flimsy. They keep their shape. So they're going to last a really long time. I'm not sure how long they're going to last, but I'm telling you, they say they don't stretch. Now, I haven't tested that part yet, but because every day I put on a brand new pair, okay? Because they gave me a bunch of them. And I don't do laundry every single other day, And I have a lot of laundry. Believe me, my house is full of laundry. I train, my boys train. I have laundry twice a day. Like I'm putting up sweaty laundry every day, twice a day at minimum. So I got a lot of laundry. My laundry situation, guys, is crazy. I'll tell you about it another day. It's crazy. My sons are training. I'm training. Laundry is crazy. My house. But I can't wear anything else. I can't. It's crazy. Coach, is staff common at the gym? That's from Adam Rogers. No. I do everything to eliminate staff. I look to see if anybody has anything weird on the skin. I wear full sleeves. I encourage everybody to wear full sleeve, full pants. We mop after every practice. We have air conditioning going on. Guys, by the way, TriStar Gym now has air conditioning, full new HVAC system, heat, air conditioning, the whole thing. We turn on the air conditioning when it's humid. We want to kill humidity as much as possible. So the gym is drier, cleaner. We want everybody to wear, long stretchy pants. Like at AOJ, you have to wear stretch. I don't make it a rule yet, but I haven't encouraged it because I know it's expensive for certain people. But if you go train at AOJ, you have to cover every inch of your body. I think it's very wise. Eventually, one day, I might make that rule. And if I see anything on anybody's skin, they cannot be on the mat. Guys, with that said, I want to thank you all for tuning in. I enjoyed these episodes very much. Please like, share, comment. And I can't wait to watch this fight. It's not impossible. I might do a live. It's not impossible. If my wife so happens to go to sleep early, I think I have a family event. I think it's Friday. I'm not sure if it's Friday or Saturday, but if I'm free, it might be that I jump on and do a live, but unlikely. Guys, we will do a post-fight analysis, I'm sure, because I can't believe 62%. Only 62% picked Topuria. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next episode.